Hi. Ironically, what you said about feeling a dissonance resonated with me. I have recently taken a few months of work off to sort of reflect and get centered after a few deaths in my family. And I had found before I left that so much of I had just started a new position that I had considered my goal. And so much of my ego and pain body were triggered constantly. I felt as if I couldn't even know if I was enjoying it or not. And so I'm going to be re-entering work soon after this retreat. And my question to you is, how should we wait for our ego and pain body to subside before making large decisions as whether to leave work, change jobs, etc.?
Okay, thanks. I wouldn't wait because that could take a while. It's usually the ego begins to be recognized in yourself as it comes up, it speaks through you, it thinks through you, it acts through you, but more and more the awareness comes in, and so the ego loses its absolute dominance, its absolute grip on you as the awareness comes in. You can't, as you know, you can't fight against the ego, that you would only strengthen it. And it's not an enemy, it's an evolutionary thing that is to be transcended. The moment you become aware of your ego, and usually for a while it happens retrospectively, you might have a discussion with someone, and then when you leave that person, or you have a quarrel with someone, and when you leave, you suddenly realize the entire thing was your ego defending itself, or wanting something, or needing to be right, needing to make the other person wrong. And awareness at a certain stage for people comes in immediately after it's happened. The same with the pain body, which is associated with the ego. Often you become aware of it, it's just as it subsides, you say, oh, there it was. And then the next stage is you become aware in the middle of it, you're having an argument, needing to be right, and suddenly there's an awareness of what is going on, what you're doing. And with that awareness, the ego is no longer as overwhelming and all-pervasive as it was before, as the awareness comes in, and gradually the ego is no longer the ego, but certain patterns of behavior which are deeply ingrained. And really the real ego, you're really in the grip of the ego when there's no awareness whatsoever. If you're already aware of your ego, either just after it happened or while it happens, that means the ego is no longer in total control of you. There's already the other dimension arising in you. And sometimes the other dimension will already start speaking through you. The other dimension comes in and it has taken you here. The ego didn't say you need to go to Eckhart to the retreat, because then you'll be rid of me. In fact, it happens I've heard quite a few stories of people who at the last moment, they had already booked to go on the retreat, and at the last moment they had doubts, and something inside went, oh no, I can't go to this. That's the ego. So you're already sufficiently free of the ego to have come here. There's already a lot of awareness in you, so the process of the ego being replaced by awareness is already underway. You might still make decisions in your life that are ego determined, but increasingly you will make decisions that come from a deeper place. And So you learn most by being engaged in life. You learn more quickly to transcend the ego and being engaged with people than withdrawing from life and saying, I'm not doing anything until I'm free of the ego. It's only by interacting and by going into relationships that you become aware of your ego through the reflection in others, how you react to others. And how far you are progressing on the spiritual path, you can easily tell by seeing how you cope with challenges in life, from the littlest, smallest challenges to big challenges. But the small ones are good. How do you cope with a difficult person? Does a difficult person who is unconscious have the power to make you unconscious also? Or are you able to stay present and therefore be non-reactive? Situation that doesn't go according to expectation, you miss your plane, there's a huge delay here, something else, somebody doesn't turn up who is supposed to turn up. How do you react there? And so you can observe yourself to see to what extent you're already free of the ego. So you need those reflections from your daily life to tell you where you're at, or meet your family, as Ram Dass said, visit your parents. That gives you a good reflection of where you're at. But in many cases, if you think you're enlightened, he said, spend a week with your parents. And that will give you a reflection of your state to what extent you're free of the conditioned self with its reactive patterns and so on. So you're on that journey, and the most important part of the journey is the arising of presence, the arising of awareness. Whatever you do on an external level has its importance, of course. You have a career, you have a job, are you in a relationship at the moment? No. Well, you probably will be soon. And so and that will give you more reflections of where you're at, because that's a huge learning, relationships. And all these things, you just enjoy the journey. The awakening process has certainly already started in you, so there's no turning back now. And while it happens, you get on with your life.
Thank you.